The environment, the floods ravaging our communities. Well, Mr. Idowu Salami joins us now. He's an environmentalist. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, not exactly the best of times for some of these intervention agencies, but you got questions. I mean, yes, we had NIMET come up with these warnings, and how we responded to that, perhaps questions will arise concerning that. But from your perspective as an environmentalist, do you think you saw the kind of response that, of course, commensurates with what was forthcoming?
Well, for advocacy, yes. Because when NIMET came out with those information early this year, we are all aware. And I was expecting the executive and the other arms of government to make adequate preparation in terms of... I know environmental project is not what you can just commence immediately. You need proper planning, budgeting. So if you say you want to dredge River Niger and you want to do shoreline protection on River Niger, it will take a lot of time. Design, construction. But what we can do in terms of when the announcement was made by NIMET is to identify the floodplain area along the River Niger.
Did you think we did that?
I'm not sure of that. If they identify floodplain area, and I know River Niger cut across up to about 9 states, Anambra, Kogi, Kwara, Benue, all those, and they have riverbank settlements. And those areas are the worst hit now. We have 2 disasters that have befallen us now, right now. Natural disaster and the man-made disaster. The release of the water from the dams.
It's contributory to it.
Yes. That is exactly what causes this present flood. Both now happen at the same time.
Not that the rains came and increased.
The rain came. It's the same time.
And then this
added. Let me tell you one thing. We cannot afford not to do any of those 2. We must release water from the dam.
So that was expected.
If we don't release water from the dam and the dam cannot withhold the capacity and the dam collapse, what do you think will happen? The catastrophe will be more than what we are having now. The entire community, the entire state could be submerged with water. So now, what they need to do first, as a proactive measure for checking future occurrence, is to look at the design, look at the pathway of the River Niger, and look at where buffer dam could be constructed that can now withstand anytime they release this water.
But this isn't the first time that water has been released.
Yes.
And the time it happened, we understand that I think the Environment Ministry said they were going to construct a buffer dam. But that wasn't done.
It was Water Ministry.
Okay, it was water.
Yeah, Water Ministry.
But that wasn't done, was it?
It's not easy to construct dam. Do you know the cost that is involved in constructing a dam? Even the cheapest dam now that is being designed by Chinese, which is the rubber dam, that maybe that can hold thousands or millions of liters of water, we cost not less than from 6 billion to 8 billion naira.
Yeah, but how many budget years have passed ever since they
No, that is where I want us to nail the concept of this interview today. What is the budget of the Ministry of Environment? And we are expecting too much from them. Thank God, the Senate chairman that you brought is the Senate Committee Chairman on Environment. He sits on budget planning of the ministry. Since he became the chairman Senate Committee on the Environment, what was the budget of the Ministry of Environment? Let us look at that. People have underestimated the power of that ministry. So we have the best of experts in that ministry.
I say
sorry, Chamberlain. Yeah, because if everyone is talking about the budget and saying it's inadequate, even Senator Bukola Saraki also said the same, and you have come forward to say this, it brings us to what we've said here on this program. Why is it when you're asked to run a ministry, a department or agency, and you realize that there's no adequate fund to do what you've been tasked with, why don't you even say it in the first place?
Okay, let me give you an example of Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. It happened 5 years back, and you know that about 1,800 people died in that incident. Now, the Congress decided that what can we do to avert future occurrence of Hurricane Katrina? That because the aftermath of hurricane and storm is flood. They look at the city gate. Where do we have city gate in all of these municipalities now? No city gate, no flood wall, no flood gauge. no dike, and this. Now, in between that 5 years and now, Congress has approved $14.5 billion for the improvement of existing dike and extension of the dike. Now, this year, they had warning that Hurricane Isaac will be striking. And they want to put the dike, or the money they spent on those dike and flood management infrastructure into place. They want to put it. They want to check it. And that thing reduced that storm, hurricane into storm. And there was less casualty. Only those who suffered the effect of that flooding or disaster were those who said, I don't want to leave my investment. I don't want to leave the town. This is where I come from. This is this. That was only what happened. Now, in our own case, we had flood disaster in 2010. We all remember the Ibadan, August 26, right, 2010. Osun State, August 10, 2010. Oh, no, Ibadan was 2011. Osun State, that's Osogbo was 2010. Lagos, last year. We remember all those things. Mr. President came to Lagos. It was an ocean surge for Lagos. And I think they took Mr. President to Kuramo and Alpha Beach. And he saw it. And the Lagos State government officials were telling the president that it was part of the problem was shipwreck remover. That they've not removed the shipwreck. I said, yeah, it might be shipwreck. But did you tell Mr. President that you have a problem of shoreline protection? You just want to remove the shipwreck. That alone cannot solve ocean surge. And the flooding that will come after that. Now, the proper planning and budget, prioritization of budget are what have problem with Ministry of Environment.
So which one takes precedence, planning, or is the budget predicated on the planning?
It's the budget. The planning comes first. Okay. Because the ministry will plan, said, I want to spend this amount of money on waste management, on sewage management and waste and storm water, on erosion control, on flood management. And if I tell you how all this Department of Environment intertwine, I'll give you an example. If you have improper solid waste management, it can resort to flooding. If you don't have proper flood and sewage management, it can resort to flooding. Because the solid waste will block the draining part. Right. Then the human feces, if it's not being put in proper channel, will block the drainage part. If erosion is not being checked and there's heavy downpour, it results to landslide. All these are what we normally put across to them as environmental consultant that prioritize your project. Then put enough funding into it.